In your life, you're bound to experience failure, and not just once. Everyone hits a rough patch, but how people react to failure is totally different. Some see it as a sign of everything going wrong. They're incompetent, unlucky, or just born on the wrong side of the track. Others, however, see failure as a chance to learn a way to get better and stronger. I completely agree with the latter. Failure can actually be a stepping stone. It pushes you closer to success. Take, for example, the United Airlines Flight 173 disaster on December 28, 1978. The flight took off from JFK in New York, heading to Portland, Oregon. The weather was clear, flying conditions nearly perfect. The captain, Malburn McBroom, the first officer, and the flight engineer were all very experienced. The passenger's safety was in capable hands. Around 5:10 p.m., as McBroom prepared to lower the landing gear at the destination, there was a loud bang and the plane started to shake. One of the landing gear indicator lights didn't come on as it should. The captain had no choice but to call the tower and request more flight time to troubleshoot. The crew ran through several checks. Everything seemed to indicate the landing gear had deployed successfully, but McBroom remained anxious. As a responsible pilot, he wanted absolute certainty. The plane circled over Portland while he focused on the landing gear problem. But another issue was quietly creeping up. Fuel was running low, and the margin for error was shrinking fast. Flight engineer Don Hall tried to get the captain's attention, warning him about the fuel pump's flashing lights. McBroom was still fixated on the landing gear, asking, "Did it really deploy? What more can we do?" By 5:50 p.m., Hall reminded him again that fuel was critically low. McBroom claimed there was still about 15 minutes of fuel, but he was wrong. He had lost track of time. The 90-ton aircraft circled over the city, fuel almost gone. In reality, the bigger danger was the fuel, not the landing gear. Even if the gear hadn't deployed, an experienced pilot could have landed safely. But McBroom didn't see the real threat until it was too late. When the engines began shutting down one by one, hope disappeared. The plane plunged toward the outskirts of Portland at over 900 meters per minute, ending in one of the deadliest aviation disasters in history. The investigation concluded that the key issues were the captain's poor judgment and the crew's lack of open communication. The engineer deferred too much to authority, failing to insist on his observations. McBroom focused entirely on the landing gear, ignoring the bigger problem, fuel. Out of this tragedy, the aviation industry learned. Crew Resource Management, CRM, was introduced, emphasizing cross-team collaboration, open communication, and systems that encourage psychological safety, letting pilots and crew speak up without fear of punishment. These changes not only improved safety but also created a system of continuous improvement. Over decades, accident rates dropped by over 90%. Today, every airline, pilot, and manager can instantly access the latest safety info and best practices worldwide. The success came from learning effectively from failure, analyzing mistakes, investigating, and improving. This mindset encourages all industries to learn from errors instead of being paralyzed by them. Failure becomes a guide, revealing what we don't know and showing where we can improve theories, strategies, and actions. The more you fail in practice, the more you learn, and the more likely you are to succeed when it really counts. So, when you face failure in life, take a moment after the initial frustration or guilt to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Then move forward. Eventually, you'll realize that success is often built on the many failures that came before. Just as Thomas Edison said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.